Good morning. Hi everybody, this is Kimberly with my Victorian Heart, and I'm in my cold, empty office because it's getting some work done. A whole wall had to be taken down because we had a bad leak and it was a whole ordeal. So it may be kind of echoey in here, I'm sorry, but at least I have a space to be here with you today. And I wanted to go over using gel medium to apply your IOD paint inlays. So this is what we'll be using, and I'll get closer, and I'm going to move the camera down in just a couple of minutes, but I wanted to go over this really quick. So if you looked at my page, I posted these cute wooden angel wings, and on the backs I have the Rose Scents Paint Inlays by IOD. And I used the transferred gel medium to apply the IOD Rose Scents Paint Inlays to these. It was really easy, and you don't even need paint on your surface if you want to use the gel medium to apply your paint inlays. The idea behind the ingenious paint inlays that were created by Sally and Josie of Iron Orchid Designs is the design on the paint inlays. I'm going to get one to show you. So this is the cover page, and they have embedded artisan paint. So the floral design that you see on here is actually paint. So when you paint a surface, let's say you paint this wooden block, which I applied an inlay to with gel medium. So you have your floral inlay and you have your wet paint that you're going to apply. And as soon as you get your wet paint on your surface, you want to lay down your inlay with the colorful design down and the grid lines on the back of the paper facing up, looking at you. And you want to position it on there. Make sure once it grabs onto the wet paint, try not to tug it hard or move it around and overwork it. You don't want to smear the paint, the artisan paint that's on the design, because once it gets wet, it is movable and it's activated. So, good morning. How are you, Carol? Nice to see you. So, you want to make sure that you keep your paper taut, and you take a paint blade. This is an IOD silicone paint blade, and they come in a pack of these two different sizes. These are brilliant. I love these. And you just start from the middle of your design and smooth them out. And I'm going to demonstrate that, and we'll do the real deal. But I just wanted to go over that quick. And the next thing that I want you to remember that's super important, when you are putting your paint inlay down on your project, you want to make sure that your inlay design and your painted surface are making really good contact. So you've smoothed it out with your paint blade, and if you have a brayer like this, like a roller, this is an IOD brayer, they're amazing, is what I do is I really firmly roll mine over my inlay. Whether I use paint medium or gel medium, I make sure I'm giving my beautiful paint inlay design good contact with whatever medium I have painted onto my surface. So remember, contact is key. And then you're going to sit it aside and let it dry. And then after it's dry, and this could be anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes, you can leave it for hours, days. When I did these cute little angel wings with the gel medium by Golden is the brand of this one, I let them sit for several days only because I was busy and I couldn't get to them. And I have one right here that I painted last night, and I applied gel and I let this sit overnight because it was really late and I had to go to bed. And I have a bare wood angel here that we can apply gel to today. And I have a couple other things. And I also took the beautiful Iron Orchid Designs Paint Inlay Grizel Toile, and I applied this to gel medium last night. It has a white coat of paint. It is a chalk-based paint, and I let that dry, and then I applied the golden gel medium, and then while the golden gel medium was fresh, I put the Grizel Toile inlay on it, and it sat overnight. And we're gonna together moisten down the carrier paper of the inlay and remove it together and see how the design transferred onto the gel medium. So the other point I wanted to get across today for the paint inlays when you use gel medium, I am not an expert, but it's something I tried because I've been transferring images for years using transfer gel. You've probably heard of it, you may have tried it. And I thought, well, you know, that might work for the inlays. I don't know what made me think of it. I just wanted to try it. So I did, and it worked like a charm. And the day I tried it was when we did that live video you might have been watching, where I took this Jane Austen image. You guys might remember this. Remember I did the video showing you how to pour resin into molds? And I had painted this bare resin mold with golden gel medium. I had applied the golden gel medium to the bare resin mold right before I did the live that day. And then we started the live and I poured some resin, and while we were waiting for some molds to set up, I went ahead and wet down my paper and showed you how we pull off the paper and you have your image that the gel lays down. This is a laser printed image. You need a laser printer to do these with the gel. Inkjet will smear. So that was the first time I had tried doing a transfer on a live, but also that day I had a rose chintz inlay on a frame just like this. And I had gel medium on the bare frame, and we removed it during the live, and it came up like a charm. And I mean, the image transferred really nicely within an hour. It may have been 30, 45 minutes. It could have been a little longer, but it worked well. The gel medium worked really well to lay down the rose chintz inlay design. So I just wanted to put that out there. And that's it. So this is what you need, okay? You need some good clean water and a little spray bottle, like a nice fine Mr. bottle of water. And you want to spray down your inlay after it's dried and you're ready to remove it. So, and then you just let it sit for about 30 seconds to a minute, and you try to carefully pull it up. And if it seems to be tugging too much, wet it down a little bit more and give it a few more seconds, and then try again. And just go a little bit at a corner or an edge, and then you'll see if it's pulling up okay for you. So that's that. And let's get started. So I'm gonna open up our gel. And let me see, I'm gonna put the camera down so you guys can see better, okay? So this is what we're gonna do first. We are gonna take this block right here, and we're gonna brush on some gel medium. This is dry painted block. You don't have to have paint on your surface. If you wanted to put your inlay on gel medium on a bare unpainted piece of wood, you can do that. You don't have to have paint with the gel medium. So this is the paper I'm going to use. And the other thing I wanted to tell you with the paint inlays, they have multiple uses. So once you use, let's say I'm going to use this paper for this block. This is an unused portion of a rose chintz inlay. I can use it for this project, and then when I lift it off, I'm going to set it aside and let it dry, and I can use it to apply a next round of design to another project. And I'll show you the difference on these angels. As you can see, this one is lighter and this one is richer, darker color. This is a first use application of a paint inlay, and this is a second use application, and I really love this one. It's my favorite. I have not tried a third use application yet, but you can do it, and it would be a little more like shabby chic and paler, but I adore all of them. And so let's get this one going, because we want to let it dry while we lift this other up and then try to remove it while we're talking today. And find my brush. I'm at this little folding table. I don't have my nice work table, and I'm a little lost without it right now. My whole office is empty. We had to empty everything, and these workers came and took out our drywall on the front wall, and they had to have mold remediation come in because there was a leak. And now we're waiting for the contractor, and he has to take the entire wall down. Even the stucco on the outside has to get redone. So it's a mess, and everything is scattered to the four winds, and I'm doing the best I can to find my stuff. So you just want a good, you know, not a super thick coat, but you don't want like a really thin, sparse coat. And do soft, gentle strokes along your surface so that you don't have a bunch of chunky lines after you pull up your inlay design. So there we go. All right, that's it. Now we're just gonna put this on here, and as you notice, there's a little border on the inlay. You want to trim that off when you're using them if you're not comfortable with positioning them. I'm just gonna go ahead and put mine down with the border a little overhanging the edge, just a little bit. And so you want to take your paint blade, and I'm gonna try to make sure you guys can see okay. And you're gonna start from the middle of your inlay design and smooth out to the corners, and do that all around. And you see, like, there's a little bit of a wrinkle there, and you know, I've pulled them up, and I want to show you right now. I just put this inlay down on the gel, and look, the paint's already going on there. Look at that. Practically really nicely. I mean, it's amazing to me. These are just the most creative thing I have ever seen in my life. Like these, the IOD ladies, they are amazing. Super creative. So you just want to smooth them out like that. I mean, I give it kind of like a sort of firm pressure, but not so hard that I want to mess up my carrier paper there. And like I said, make sure your grid lines are facing up, that you're looking at them, and the more colorful part of the inlay is down in your paint or your gel. So the next thing I like to do, because you want to make sure you have that good contact with your paint inlay to your paint or your gel medium. So you want to roll it, give it a nice roll with your paint brayer. And if you don't have the IOD brayer, you can use other implements. You know, you could use this brayer. But these are invaluable tools, and they're very well made. But I do give it a good rolling so we have really good adherence for the inlay. And there you go. So now we're gonna take our water bottle and we're gonna spritz the inlay, the back of the carrier paper, whatever you want to refer to it as. Just give it a little coating of water. Okay, and then I just go along and blend it on there. My Chihuahua dog hair right there. Story of my life. So I give it another pass after I wet it down because I want to make sure I get it on there good. And we're gonna let this sit while we do some other things, and then we're gonna pull it up together before our live is over. So now this is the little rose shins on the angel like I have in the picture of my promo for this live today. So when you are done with your paint inlay and you've let it sit and you've let it dry, you want to spritz it with your water bottle again. And this is going to help the carrier paper release from your project. So, and I want to also mention about the gel medium. Try not to get the gel medium on top of your carrier paper. Keep it off of here because gel medium can dry and create like a barrier, and then your water can't get under it. But it, the gel medium, the wet gel medium underneath the paper in contact with your paint inlay design is fine. There's not a barrier that's going to inhibit any transfer of your design. So don't worry about that, but just I try not to get on top because you want to wet it down and you want to be able to get all your paper up, and you don't want anything blocking that. Just something I wanted to mention. So I'm going to give this another spritz. Getting my table all wet. So now I just want to take a little corner. I don't think that's wet enough. I have my little well hair. And I'm gonna go get my laptop after this so I can see your comments if you guys want. So sorry about that. I'm new at this stuff, so you gotta bear with me. I'm doing the best I can. I can do better, and I'm trying. All right, so I want you to see how this starts to lift up. And you just kind of go slow and just sort of gently hold it taut. Like that. I go really slow because this is like precious to me and I don't want to mess it up. But look at that. It's coming along really, really well. And this is gel medium. I just put a little coat of chalky base paint, specifically Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And I don't even think that is a true chalk based, but it's Rust-Oleum. And I also use another popular brand of chalk paint, and they both work well. So let's talk about paints with the paint inlays. I have also used acrylic craft paint, like folk art craft paint. I have used Amy Howard's one-step paint, and they have all done fine with the paint inlays. You just have to play around with your favorite paint and see your results. So there you go. Here is your inlay on gel medium that I just pulled up. And you want to take your piece of wet carrier paper that you just pulled up and set it aside and let it dry. And you can use it again for another project. So there's that. And I'm gonna sit this aside and let it dry for just a few minutes, and then we're gonna spray it with our 50-50 mixture of water-based sealer. So you wanna take a solution of water-based sealer. I use Amy Howard's matte sealer, and I mixed it 1 part water and 1 part Amy Howard matte sealer, and it works great. So you spray your project with the Amy Howard matte sealer and you let it sit. You just do a light little misting to set and fix your paint inlays and let them dry. Then you can go back and do another spritz coating of your 50-50 sealer solution and let that dry. And then you can come back and brush on your water-based full-strength sealer, or you can do like a clear wax, which I've done that too, and they all worked, because the paint inlays, if they're not properly sealed, when you go to like wipe them off with like a damp cloth or get them wet, they'll smear. So you want to make sure they're sealed really, really well. All right, so we're gonna spritz down the Griselle Toile Paint Inlay. And this one is, this is the wood on the back. And I just gave it a little light coating of chalk paint last night. And then I applied the gel medium after the paint dried. And I let it sit overnight. And we're just gonna try to get that moistened really well on the carrier paper on the back. And this oval frame with the beads I bought at Hobby Lobby back before Christmas. They only had a couple left, but they're in that aisle where all the little wood parts and things are. And I mean, it was just a couple of dollars on sale. And I think this needs a little bit more water. The angel wings I got at Walmart in the Christmas section. They were ornaments and they were just plain wood. And also I got this angel also in Walmart's Christmas ornament section before Christmas. I've had them laying around for a while. And these wood blocks like this are from Michael's, also on the aisle where they have all the woodcraft stuff. And they also have round ones like that too. All right, so let me see if I got this. You wanna make sure your edge of your paint inlay paper is also moistened, because that's where you wanna start pulling up from. Sometimes I don't get the edges really, really well. All right, so here we go. Oh, and see, look on the edge, on the very side of the rim, my paper got stuck because the gel got on it and I didn't see it. So you can sand that off, you know, with a little sanding block or sandpaper. So I'm just gonna go like this to get that edge released. There you go. I just dab a little more water and get my paper started there. It's kind of annoying where the string is into the wood. Like, it's kind of fussy to get out of there. So we're gonna go over here. And So just kind of lightly sand your little edge if it gets stuck with the gel medium on your paper, okay? Not a really big deal. So I think I need to wet this down just a little more. I don't think I gave it enough water. You gotta let it sit for like 30 seconds to a minute after you apply your spritz of water when you want to release the paper. And I just sort of rub it on there. Help it along. There we go. So we're coming off nicely. I'm gonna try to keep it that way for you. And I think I need more water on him. I'm a little impatient during these lives trying to get stuff done, and so you really need it to a good minute, probably. And I have found that the larger designs need a little more patience, you know? So there you go. We're pulling them off. So the reason why I wanted to show you guys how to do all this today is because I, love the paint inlays, and there's so many possibilities for creative projects and decor. It's just limitless, really. And I don't want you to be intimidated by these. They're actually easier than you think. And if you just start with a small piece like this, like a little project, you can even do a little wooden spool like I did. Just start with something little and use little bits of your paint inlay, and you take baby steps and practice, and then you can go big, and you'll be really confident after that. You'll have the hang of it, and you'll be like, why was I even worried about that the whole time? They're really so much easier to use than I even thought. I mean, I was a little intimidated, but oh my goodness, look how pretty that did. Oh, I love Griselle Toile. I cannot wait to use this on a bigger piece. So there you have it. Look how beautiful that did. And this is gel medium on top of this little thin coat of paint, okay? I mean, like a charm. Love it. Okay, something else I want you to remember about the paint inlays. If you do a transfer and like on this one it's kind of spotty and you don't think it transferred very well, this is a shabby chic kind of wood. It has all kinds of grainy bumpies and stuff, so they don't always get into the parts, the crevices of the wood, so they come out a little funky. But you can take a small artist brush like this, dip it in your water, just kind of tap it off, and then you can go in and re-wet your paint like on this little flower, and the paint becomes movable and workable. You can even add your own paint colors to these and change them up a little bit. I've seen where some people have painted on Griselle Toile and added color to these, and they're beautiful. So I just want to show you what you can do with that. So as you can see, I'm painting it and moving that green around on the leaf. So, and on this one. And if you get it too wet, you might have to dab it off like I just did. But you just kind of smooth out. If you think something's a little wonky, you can just take paint and move it around and hide the bare spot, and boom, you fixed it. So there's that. And this one I think transferred super well. I mean, I'm super happy with the outcome. And so we're gonna let that sit. Okay, so this is the 50/50 sealer that I use, and it's Amy Howard's sealer. She has a really simple name. It's just Amy Howard's matte sealer, and it's a water-based sealer. So I put half of that in here and half water, and every time you use it, you just shake it up really well. I need to close my gel before, and my Griselle toile. So you shake it really well, and I think this is the one. Which one did we transfer today? Oh. So you just want to take this, my ugly old cloth, and you want to give this a really light spritz of your 50/50 sealer to set your inlay after you removed your carrier paper. You don't want to be brushing on sealer or wax or anything until you have preset it with a spray of this. And so you're not going to saturate it or make it to where it's drippy. Just a nice fine misting, and try to find a spray bottle that will do a fine mist and not like squirt out. I like to use, this is a Mrs. Meyer's room freshener spray bottle that I recycled. It sprays super nice, and after I use my sealer, I undo the top and I run it in water and empty the sealer out so it doesn't get clogged, and that's worked really well. The other bottle that I love to use that is recycled for water is a Poo-Pourri spray bottle. It has a great fine mist also. Just to let you know, those are super good and they work. All right, we have to let this set and dry. And after this dries, I'm gonna go in and do another 50/50 solution of the same mix, the same 50/50 sealer that we just did. We're gonna spray on another round. I've been doing like 3 sprays, so I'll spray it once, let it dry, spray it a second time, let it dry, then I'll spray it a third time and let it dry. And it doesn't take long to dry. And then I can go in and brush on my full strength sealer, water-based sealer, or I can also apply a clear coat of wax. And please test out your hand applying, like when you're doing wax or hand brushing on your sealer. Test a tiny area first to make sure you have a good pre-seal on here so you don't mess up your pretty design when you get it wet with your sealers. So let's set this aside. I don't have a lot of room on this little table. So this is a paint spool that I put a strip of Rose Chintz Inlay on last night, and it's gonna be really cute. So we're gonna spray this down. We wanna go through the motions together with these paint inlays because I want you to walk away from this video today confident that you can use these and you don't feel uncomfortable about it. I know it's a weird feeling when you have something new to try and you don't want to mess it up. You don't want your money that you spent to be wasted because you messed up. So if you can be confident and know the techniques, you can do this, and it's really not hard. And also, if you don't like to paint, let's say you wanted to, let's say you love the wood look on this angel ornament and you don't want to paint it. You could literally brush the golden gel medium on this and apply your inlay, and it would be really cute. It would have like a cute farmhouse rustic shabby chic look. So that's the other reason why I wanted to teach you about using gel medium with the IOD Paint Inlays. And the other reason why I wanted to talk about using gel medium with the IOD Paint Inlays is, you know, let's say you have a piece of furniture or a really cool old wooden board or architectural piece or something that you love the color. It's got this old color and patina on it and you really don't want to paint it and you hate painting. So you could literally take the gel medium and apply it to that piece that you love the color. And let me put these in water. And you could put your paint inlay on it and you didn't have to go through all the motions of prepping and painting something that had to be painted. Now, the thing I want to say about that is if you're using some piece that had already been pre-painted, you need to check it and see if it has a waxy surface. You might want to give it a light sanding. I would definitely give, if I had a piece I was recycling and I didn't paint it, but it already had an old finish on it, I would sand that top surface a little bit. And, you know, you can just use like the soft fine grit part of a block like this. I don't even know what the number grit is for this. I'm so sorry. But you could just go over it with a little sanding and then apply your gel and then apply your paint inlay. So that is something that I wanted to tell you guys about. And let's get this removed from this spool. So I have a thing for wooden spools. When I had my 2 Etsy shops, I did a lot of custom sewing and gifts for one shop. Then the other shop, I sold craft supplies and I would make and paint these wooden spools and put twine and yarn, and I would sell like the yards of pretty twines and tinsel twine and stuff. And I just love a pretty cute spool. So where is my edge of my paper? So anyway, I thought, you know what? These little strips of Rose Shin's paint inlay would be cute on the spools. So my paper got stuck. So there we go. All right, we're gonna pull this up and let you see. And you know, I wanted to mention also about the paint inlays. You'll see sometimes a little bit of a fiber, like little fibery hairs come up and stick up with the paper, and they may end up on your project. They're really not a big deal. You can just, after you apply your little preset sealer, like when you spritz on your little 50-50 solution, that will smooth them down. And after you get your sealer, you can just go in with like a soft bit of sanding if they bother you or they're terrible. So this one, if you see here, my part of my paint inlay pulled up, but I just tapped it back down and it stayed on there. But the beauty of paint inlays, it actually looks like you hand painted these cute designs on here. So there we have a cute little shabby chic spool, and I love it. So we're gonna set that aside to dry and save that paper for another use. Like this can be used for another little spool, which I have this one here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on this one. So we're gonna set this aside, let it dry, and then I'll spray my sealer on it. All right, let's see how the Grizel Toile is doing. Okay, the sealer is still wet on here, as you can see, so that still needs to dry. You can take a blow dryer or a heat gun and hold it at a, you know, don't burn your project with the heat gun, they get really hot. But you can blow dry it to speed things up. I've done that and it works fine. But I'm just gonna let that air dry while we do another inlay. So get my gel over here. So I wanted to take some gel, medium today, and put it on an IOD frames mold that I painted. This is just the prettiest mold. This is the IOD frames mold. This is one of the molds in the set. And I did a video showing you how to pour resin to make resin molds. And this is one of the resin molds. And I painted the back. I have to paint that some more. But this is, the color is called Ballet Slipper. And this is a matte based, kind of a chalky style paint, but it's an acrylic craft paint, and it's by Waverly. Okay, so let me blot my brush. So you want to take your gel. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is a new pot of gel. My old one got really, it was almost gone. It was icky and thick. So this is the soft matte gel by Golden, and it goes on a little more smoother and fluid. They have a regular matte gel that I like too. It's a little bit thicker, but you just want to get a good layer of your matte gel onto your surface. And I actually forgot to take my paint inlay that I'm going to put in here and size it to this frame. So, goofy me, but you know, that's the way it is. I'm not perfect. I try. Alrighty. So here's my scraps. And let's see, I think this one is going to be really good for that. So we are just going to lay this right down. We're going to get the pretty flower part and kind of have the stem go to the base of the frame and just kind of feel there. We don't want to move it around too much. Now, when you're applying inlays onto curves, things that may be round or curved, and you know how they'll kind of wrinkle and buckle along that edge. So I take my fingernail and I find the line at the frame and I make that line so I know where my inlay design ends on the mold or the frame. And then I take my smaller size IOD paint blade and I start from the middle of the frame design and I smooth it out, go to the edge. I mean, I don't push it so hard that I'm gonna drag and possibly tear the paper, but this paper is actually pretty strong. But I give it some firm pressure and push down nicely. And this is gonna be cute because you can see the ballet slipper pink color showing. It'll be really cute behind this design because this background pink is different than the pinks on the inlay, and I think that'll be really cute. So the trick to the curve that goes down to the edge is making sure you press down and adhere your paper, your design. There we go. I won't be using the roller, like it's kind of cumbersome, but this should do the trick. And then I'll flip it over. I'm going to take my scissors
And I'm gonna save these little scraps that I'm cutting off for other projects. Sometimes you'll have a project and you need to like fill in with a scrap design, and you'll have your little scraps handy to fill in with. So there you go. Not perfect, but you know, got the job done. And get that down there again. Okay. So let's give it a spritzy. Get these out of the way. Don't want to get those wet. All right. So that's going to sit. Just rub that down. You want to make sure you have your good contact onto your surface with your inlay. And the other thing I forgot to say about the curves, when you're putting an inlay on something that is rounded and curved, sometimes like when if you sew and you have, you're sewing a seam that goes around a curve, or like when you're doing a corner and you don't want it to be like real sticking out, real pokey, you just go in and trim it off. You can cut a line at the curve. These scissors don't want to cut very well. They're terrible. So you just go like that and cut like these little notches at the curves, and it helps the paper be a little more forgiving around that curve so that you can lay it down better. And that's what I wanted to say about that. Okay, let's let this dry. And this one, we're gonna cut this off. So remember, this is the one we applied earlier and we set it aside. So I'm not sure how long it's been, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30, but this will give you an idea how long it takes for paint inlays to adhere with gel medium, okay? So it still feels damp to me. This, the principle from the IOD sisters in the instructions for paint inlays, if this still feels cold to you, then it needs to dry longer. But just for demonstration purposes today, I want to show you, I'm going to lift up a corner. I'm going to wet that a little bit and show you how the paint transferred. Okay, so we're going to pull up this corner and there you go. It's doing really well already, okay? So I hope I don't mess it up when I do this. I've never actually put them back down, but there we go. Smooth that back out. I think that you could pull this off now and set it and it would be fine. It's not like, you know, when you need your paint to dry. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take it off because I just want to show you how the gel handled getting the paint inlay design onto the surface today. I just think that, you know, seeing is believing. Look at that. Did really, really well in that little amount of time. And you want to be gentle pulling your paper off when it's still damp, okay? And I'm getting a little bit of a fiber stuff right there because I didn't wet that part enough when I was pulling off. That's an important part of dampening these down when you're ready to remove them, okay? The live tutorials they can be tricky because, you know, sometimes you have to find quicker ways to do things that really should take a little bit more time when you want to do it right. All right, there we go. Just about off. So beautiful. That is a beautiful transfer. I think the only part that didn't go well is this little corner, and it's probably because I didn't have enough gel right there. And this part too. I've noticed that if I don't have a good transfer of a design, it's because I didn't put enough gel or paint on an edge or a corner. It just seems to be when you're taking your brush out to edges, you don't have enough paint. So be mindful of that, because I've noticed that happens to me. So you might want to take your wet little paintbrush. Oh, I hate this brush. I like this little thin angled one because I can get into the tiny stuff. You just want to take that and see, you want to wet down your design a little bit, and that you can get your little splotchy bits back together. And if you go from the pink color, you want to rinse off your brush. And then I'm going to fix this little leaf right here. You see that? So you just take the more saturated part of your leaf color and move it over to the white spotty part. And you can blend it in and make it look awesome. Or if you could just leave it if you like that look. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with that. And then up here, this cream white part of the flower was a little spotty. So I'm going to smooth it back out and it's going to be fine. And that's how you do it. Easy. So this actually feels dry to the touch under here. Maybe a little cold, but you know, I can touch it with dry hands and I'm not getting anything on my hand. But you want to go in with your 50-50 sealer solution, and let me move that out of the way. Give it a nice little, whoops, spray. And if you have like a heavier droplet from your spray, like I just did right here, don't touch it, leave it, it'll dry and dissipate. So we'll let that dry now. And let's check the Griselle Toile. And what time is it? I can't see my clock. Minimize my screen. All right, we have 1 minute left. I have to go. I'm gonna try to keep this an hour. I've always done really long videos, and I'm trying to keep it down, but I'm happy to go an extra 5 minutes so we can do something else. Let me see, what else do I have to show you guys that would help you? We removed all the others. Okay, so this one we just did, and it hasn't been on there for what? Not even 10 minutes maybe? So let's just lift it for curiosity's sake and see what happened while we were messing around with the wood block. I want to show you how well the Rose Chintz Inlay transferred onto the IOD frames mold. Look at that. And it wasn't even 10 minutes time. So unreal. It just does so well. So I got some around the edges here, but that is not a big deal because I'm gonna go around and clean that up. I can take my sad little piece of sandpaper and I can go like that. But you want to do all that after this dries and after you have set it with your 50-50 spray solution, okay? And that's it. That's what I wanted to show you today. And whatever questions you have, I will go through and see if there's any, and I'll answer them. And then tonight, like this afternoon actually, I will post the name of the Amy Howard sealer I use and that I like to mix with water and that I like to use full strength. And I will also post the link to the golden gel medium that I buy on Amazon. And this is the big 32-ounce pot. It goes a long way. I will post the links to the inlays. Also, find your local stockist if you are interested in buying an IOD paint inlay or anything else. Any more creative joy with IOD, I'm sure your stockist can help you. If they don't have something you need, we can help you find somebody near you who does, or you can just contact me and I will help you work it out. And let's see. I want to make sure there wasn't anything else I forgot to tell you. Okay, I want to finish with this last tidbit. It's really important, okay? On the sealing with the paint inlays. Make sure you preset or set your design with the 50-50 spray solution. Give this minimum of 2 settings of the 50-50 solution. I always give it like 3. So I'm going to spritz this again after it's dry, and I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to spritz it a 3rd time. Then I'm going to go in with my full strength Amy Howard matte sealer, and I am going to brush a nice coat of sealer on here. And then if I want to do anything to this, excuse me, my throat is so dry now. I can do aging waxes. I can do dark antiquing wax. I can add stamps. I could add stamps even before I do my final coat of sealer. There's a lot of things you can do, you know. But I just wanted to mention the importance of making contact when you apply your paint inlay by using your brayer and a roller, and make sure you spritz it after you do that. And then when that's done and you've lifted off your paper, make sure you do your initial 50-50 sealer spray a couple of times at least, and then you do your final sealing. And that's what I want you to remember. And I also want you to know that this is not terribly hard. It's actually really easy, and you can do so much with them. You can put them on furniture. You can do them on crafts like these. It's endless what you can do with the paint inlays. So I hope I helped you today, and I'm gonna put the camera back up before I go. And these are so hard to move around. Okay, there I am. So thank you for being here, guys. And I hope that I helped you understand how to use the IOD paint inlays. I hope that you feel good about it now. And if you want to try them and you run into any kind of an issue, please, you can email me, you can call me. I will help you with it. And that's it. So thank you guys, and have a happy weekend, and stay warm if you're up there in the horrible storm. So thanks. Bye-bye.